Hey guys, I just got finished looking over your Module 6 discussion questions, and it looked like a lot of you, most of you were on the right track with things. Number one, number two, number three were all good. And then we got to number four, and there was a lot of confusion. I could tell, obviously, with everybody. So I just kind of wanted to talk through that. Number five, I think a lot of you guys got close. And then I think a lot of you guys were just missing one piece of that, so we'll just briefly talk about that too. But let's talk about number four. So first off, I guess let me define some variables. So let's say H is the number of hours worked, and let's say W is the wages earned in dollars. And then I think most of you guys got to this point where you were able to write your formula. So you found your crock, and then you picked one of your reference points. I'm going to pick this one as my reference point. And you were able to write your formula. And then in question number three, you had to find out how much money they made if they worked 32 hours. So you just input 32 for H, and then you simplified, and you got, I think it was what, $627.50. And then we got to question number four. And like I said, confusion reigned, and so this is why I'm making the video. Number four asked us to rewrite that formula in y equals mx plus b form. So just a couple of things to note. So m is just my crock. And we already found our crock for this problem was 1675. So that is not going to change. So that's the same as the crock that we have up here. B is coming from the fact that this is my vertical intercept. So when I'm in y equals mx plus b form, my reference point is my vertical intercept, which means that it's always going to be in the form of 0, comma, b. So the input is always going to be 0, and then the output is that value of b. So that's going to kind of come up in just a minute as I talk through a couple of the methods of doing this. All right, so this is kind of the form we're trying to go. When we're trying to do this, there's kind of three main ways that I think about finding. So one of the ways that we could do it is we could distribute. We could use our original formula. We could distribute, and we could combine like terms. I know that Candy attempted this and she got really close. All she did was miss a sign. So we can kind of talk through this, and you could take a look at her work too if you want to see where she was really, really close. So when we have this form, when I distribute, I need to distribute this 16.75 and multiply it by h. And also by that, the -8 is probably the easiest way to think of it. So when I do that, I'm going to write W equals 16.75 h. And then I need to do 16.75, and like I said, I would do it times -8 just so I don't lose that negative sign. And when you do that, you get -134, and that's where Candy lost it. She just said a positive 134, so it's really easy to make a mistake there. And then I need to add the 225.50. All right, and then finally, I have the 16.75h, and then I just need to combine the -134 and the positive 225.50. So -134 plus 225.50 is going to get me $91.50. So this, now I am in y equals mx plus b form, where my reference point is 0, comma, 91.50. So if you don't work any hours, you make 91.50. Maybe it's like a base pay that you're promised to get, and then you make money on top of it, that kind of idea. So that's one method. Another method that we could use is we could utilize the fact of this right here. So I need to find B. I could find B by inputting 0 into my formula and finding the output. So this method is just input 0, find the output, which is going to be B. So again, I'm going to start with my formula that I had, 16.75, h minus 8 plus 225.50. And then I'm going to input 0 for h. And I think Kylie did this, but again, we kind of lost it at the end. So when I go and I simplify, I get 16.75, 0 minus 8 is -8, plus 225.50. 16.75 times -8 is a -134. That should look familiar from the last formula, or from, I guess I should say from kind of up here. And then I'm going to add the 225.50. So -134 plus 225.50 is going to get me that 91.5. And so here we need to recognize that this is saying that when my input is 0, we found that the output was 91.50 or 91.5. But then I need to go back and actually write the formula. So it's 16.75h, because that's still my crock, plus the 91.5. 0.5 because that's my b value. And so again, this would be another way that we could find it. The third way that we could do it is we could use tables. Right? Some of you guys, pardon me, some of you guys have really liked the tables in terms of organizing things. Sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Okay, so in order to make my table, I'm going to put 0 in here because that's what I'm looking for is the output there. And then we know if you work 8 hours, you make $225.50. So we can use the change. So the change here is going to be -8. So if I work 8 less hours, if I want to find my change in, oops, it's not H, my change in wages, I would do -8 times the $16.75 per hour that I'd make less. And when we get that, we get -134. So if I work 8 less hours, I'm going to make $134 less dollars. And so 225.50 minus 134, again, I'm going to get that 91.50, which is, again, just my B value. So I would still have to take that last step of actually going back and writing in y equals mx plus b form. All right, so notice that either of those ways get you the same formula, so it's not like one is better than the other. I would just say pick the way that makes the most sense to you and go from there. Like just use that, and that can be the way you do it. I do want to just lastly address the domain and range. So the domain, I told you they can't work, or they're not going to work any more than 40 hours. So I think most of you guys had that part correctly, or correct. The range gets a little tricky only in this sense, is some of you guys had 0 here. Technically, based on our formula, if they work 0 hours, they still make 91.50. And so really what we should be putting here is 91.50. Sorry. So if you input 0, you're going to get $91.50. And then, and I think most of you guys did this, if I input 40 hours in for H, we find that they make, what is it, $761.50. And again, you get that by inputting, if I put 40 in for H and just simplify to any of my now 4 versions of my formula I have written there. So that's just the only thing to be careful of, is that's where I saw several people, they just wrote 0, but really it should be 91.50. If you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, overall, I thought you guys did really well. It was just question 4 that was hanging a lot of people up. So hopefully this helps. You can do it. We're almost done. We've got like a week and a half left, and we've got the end of the semester. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.